bit of left rudder, and V1, rotate, pull back nice and gently.
V1, rotate.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Flight Sim 008 video, and a brand new mini-series on this channel, Aegean Island Hop. I've got a few weeks off duty from Fly UK, and I've heard they were looking for Airbus pilots down here in Greece. Well, it's just such a scenic and wonderful place to fly that I couldn't say no. So I hopped on Fly UK flight 808, service Edinburgh to Athens, as a regular passenger to come check it out. Now, it's about a 4-hour flight, so I'm getting antsy back here, but I couldn't help admire the view on our way down this evening. So for the next little while, we'll be operating an Airbus 320, same as this one, for Aegean Airlines, all over the Greek islands. Ultimately, we'll finish here back in Athens, so that we can catch our flight back to the UK. Aegean is a small Greek airline based both here at Athens and up north in Thessaloniki, where we'll be flying tomorrow morning. They operate an all-Airbus fleet of 30 A320s, an A319, and 8 321s. The A320s all have the IAE engines fitted, whereas Fly UK uses the CFMs.
I used to say I was sincere. 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 I used to say I was sincere.
Right, well I'm gonna go check into my hotel and get some sleep. We've got an early start tomorrow, so I'll meet you on the tarmac.
I used to say I was sincere. I used to say I was sincere. I used to say I was sincere.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Athens International Airport. It's just before sunrise here, and our Airbus is parked at stand Alpha 11. Let's hop on board and get started.
I was sincere.
Alright, welcome to the flight deck of the Airbus 320. Now, we've bussed before, but never with the FSLabs, always with the Aerosoft version, which I've currently uninstalled in favor of this much more realistic, I guess, I don't know, high fidelity Airbus. We'll just give this a try, see how it goes. First thing we're going to do is we're going to establish some power, so I'm going to turn on the MCDU, exterior controls, we'll get the GPU connected, and we'll get the ground air conditioning connected. So that's established. We do have to turn on the batteries. 1, 2. Give that a couple of seconds to initialize. I'm also going to turn on the dome light, if I can find the dome light. There we go. We'll do bright. There we go. And we'll get the overhead lit up. Actually, that's not going to work without ground power. So, and this is one of my... the sounds on this aircraft are absolutely incredible. So, just listen to this as we turn on the exterior power. You can hear the fans spooling up, the electronics turning on. Everything's starting to initialize. Now, one thing with the Airbus, once you've established the ground power, it's going to do all of its self-tests. So there's many computers on this Airbus, and they do have to run through their self-checks. So we're going to let the aircraft do that. The key to wait for is the triple chime, like the little cavalry charge. So basically, the procedure is not to touch anything until you hear those 3 sounds. Okay, minus the lighting, which we can obviously have a little play around with. So there's the overhead lighting, and we'll get the center console as well, the integrated lights. As it is a little bit early in the morning, those bells, not a problem. That's just the aircraft checking itself. There we go. That's the triple click. So the triple click is basically the all clear to start messing around and starting to program the things. Okay, so we're going to turn the crew oxygen supply on and arm the emergency lights. Next thing we're going to do, it's still running through a couple of the fire tests, that's fine. We'll leave the fuel pumps off for now. We do want the nav and logo lights on the exterior to show that there is life inside the aircraft. Inside the seat. Just move forward a little bit. There we go. Okay, so right now the first thing we can do is turn on the ADIRSs. Those are our nav computers. Wait for the on bat. So it's 1, 2, IR2, and then IR3. There we go. So those will start aligning. We can turn on the other McDo. Anytime you'd like to turn on. Come on. There we go. Okay, so we'll set this one to the exterior controls, and the doors will actually open. That. Oh, another one of my favorite little things about the Airbus. The aft cargo door hydraulics, you can actually hear when it opens, and it's one of my favorite sounds on this Airbus. So we'll open those two. Now, do you hear that mechanical whine? I think when I open the rear one, you can hear it a little bit better. Oh, maybe not. But that little mechanical whine in the background, such an immersive little feature. I love that, and you hear that in the real world as well when you're boarding the aircraft. That's very audible from the cabin in the back. There's just little immersion features like that I absolutely love about this Airbus. Okay, let's stop messing around. So we're gonna go to init on this one, and we'll load the fuel and the payload on this one. Just make it a little bit brighter. So we're bringing quite a bit of fuel. We'll go here, and it's 5,600 kilograms. That's because we're going to Thessaloniki, but our diversion is back here. Our alternate airport is back here at Athens. So that's why we're bringing so much fuel. The payload was 57.9. That's our zero fuel weight, and that'll fill up nicely everything there. So our gross weight is 63.5. Our gross weight CG is 25.8. So that's important because that has to do with our trim feature. So our trim wheel is down here, and you can see there's CG markings all up and down the side here. So basically what we want to do is we want to cross-reference the takeoff gross weight CG, which is 25.8, and we want to look where that falls on the scale. So that's about 1-ish, maybe 0.9. So we'll do decimal 9 up for the trim. So we'll keep that in mind for later. Okay, over to the init page. We're going LGAV, LGAV to LGTS, like so. And there's my flight plan. It's the Nevra 1 Echo. Well, we'll check that when we check the weather here. But Zulu 507 to Osmos, and then Osmos 1 Lima. Well, we'll have another look at that a little bit later. But we'll take that one. We'll insert that. We are AEE Aegean 9786, like so. Our cost index is 28. We'll be climbing to 280. That's our cruise. Minus 40. That's fine. There is a second page to the init. We do have to put in the block fuel 5.6, like so. And we can let the flight management computer automatically put our zero fuel weight and our zero fuel weight CG. So now we've got the init fuel prediction page all filled out. That's good. We can check over our flight plan. 21 right is what we had it on. That's going to change. The current weather here, the winds are 050 at 9. So we're going to be off 3 right. And we'll just look for Osmos. It's going to be Osmos. No, sorry, it's the Nevra. Nevra 1 Tango. So let's have a look at our ND for a second here. Just move up here. We'll zoom out just a skosh. And we'll insert that. There we go. So 03 right over to Nevra, and then there seems to be a discontinuity. We can go ahead and clear that. Nevra and then the rest of the flight plan. So we'll just clear the discon like so. Insert that. Great. Keep looking down. Keep going. Oh, this isn't on plan, is it? Hang on. We'll change that to plan. And there's our top of descent, Osmos, and we'll figure this out in a second. I'll check the weather. Actually, let's do that now. So, Lima Golf Tango Sierra. We'll bring this over to the main screen like so. And the weather in Thessaloniki is 330 at 10 knots. All right. So, what do we want to do? We want to do arrival. See, here's my dilemma. The runway 16 is basically over the city, and that's really the scenic approach over there in Thessaloniki. What can we do to fix that? Because basically coming in 34, which is the other runway, is basically coming in from the south and going northbound, and it doesn't really show off the scenery as much. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'll have a quick think about this when we get airborne. We can leave this like this for now. It's still a 50-minute flight, so on the climb, maybe we can play around with this. Everything else is set, that's fine. So we're going to go to the perf page. Remember the up trim, which was 0.9 we said. So we're going to take off flaps 1. So this is where we put that in, flaps 1, and we'll do up 0.9, like so. Flex to temp, we're going to do 67 degrees, and we'll let the flight management computer decide our V1, our rotate, and our V2 speed. So that's 136, 136, 137. So that's done. The next thing I want to do is I want to change my thrust reduction and acceleration. So I want to do 1500 AGL for the thrust reduction. That's fine. So we want to do 1770 for our thrust reduction and 3270 for our acceleration. That should work out to about 1500 for the thrust reduction above ground and 3000 for the acceleration height. That works for me. So we'll leave that all like that. Transition altitude is 9. We can plug that in right here, just as a quick reminder. You can see that the speed and the heading is already in managed mode. The QNH here is 1021, quite high pressure here in Athens. So we'll do that 3 times. There we go, that's set. Just going to reset my view here, like so. We can, let's turn on some lighting here because I want to turn off the dome light. The lighting in this aircraft is absolutely fantastic. So what we're going to do is that, and we can turn this to dim. And that's basically just going to dim the enunciators once they get on, we turn those on. Okay, 122.8 is Unicom. There is no control for now at Athens. That we can set there. We can turn on the floodlights just a skosh. And with that, I think we can turn off the dome light here, which is this one, I believe. Yes, there we go. Look at the lighting on this thing. It's an absolute beauty. What a gorgeous aircraft. Okay, so that's done. We can turn off the passenger seatbelt signs. We'll leave the no smoking on auto, that's fine. What else do we need? Exterior lights, I think that's all fine for now. We can go ahead and turn on the fuel pumps. So those are on. Good stuff. And we'll basically start getting boarded and loaded up here for a trip to Thessaloniki. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the brightness down on the PFD, on the ND. Cool. We'll turn this one to ARC. We'll turn this one to ARC. We want about 10 miles on this one. We'll do 20 on that one. We'll do terrain on this side. You can see the terrain here in Athens is it's quite hilly up here to the north and to the northwest. We'll leave this one here onto the weather radar, which reminds me, we'll turn on the predictive wind shear. We'll leave the system weather off for now. The next thing is we can set up our transponder. Is there a floodlight for that? Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I love it. I love it. So we've set the transponder down to, or up to 2000. We will turn that on to on. Alt repeating will be on. We'll turn that to above, and this is our master here for standby TA and TARA. We'll leave that off for now. Okay, so we're on 122.8. The radios are set up. Everything looks good here for now. As the catering truck goes by, we will call up our very own catering and then get the passengers boarded. Alright, so we've called for the pushback truck. What we're going to do is we're going to close those doors. We're going to close these doors. And we're going to close. Listen for it. Oh, I love that sound. That hydraulic whine of the doors, the cargo doors closing. Love it. Okay, we'll pull off the jetway. Or the jetway is being pulled off. And what we can do now is we can start weeding ourselves off of ground services. So the first thing we're going to do is the master APU switch, and we do have to wait for the APU to run through a quick self-check, and we can go ahead and start it when we see the annunciation flap open. That's the flap at the rear of the basically the intake valve for the air of the APU. So the flap is now open. We can go ahead and hit start. Let that spool itself up. It does take a little bit of time before the APU is available. In the meantime, we can do a couple of checks here. So let's see. Fuel pumps are off. The packs are fine. That's off. We can get the ground air conditioning cart out of the way. Exterior controls, ground AC, disconnect. So you can hear the basically the air stop flowing around the cabin. I'm also going to turn on the PA system because I do have the Aegean cabin safety demonstration loaded up in the Airbus. That's another fantastic feature of the FSLabs bus, is that you can download basically a safety feature, a safety briefing for any one of your liveries, and it'll play after the engines start, which is fantastically immersive. Alright, just waiting for the APU to come online. There's 100%. Avail. So we can go ahead and disconnect the exterior power. Listen to the small, subtle little change in the electronics and the sound as you come off the ground power. Did you hear now it's a little bit more high-pitched? I mean, it's just things like that that they absolutely modeled fantastically. Okay, so we'll disconnect the GPU. We can, the chock's already disconnected. The parking brake is on. So we're just waiting for the ground crew downstairs to be ready for the pushback. We'll go ahead and check around us, make sure that there's nobody. I did see a Ryanair earlier, so they're locking the gear now. Yeah, the Ryanair is still sitting over there. That's fine. So planning a departure off of runway 3 right, yeah, which is over to our left-hand side. Now, unfortunately, I did check GSX, and it's only going to push us straight back, so whatever. That's fine. We're used to terrible ground handling here on this channel. I think we're all ready. So what we'll do is we will start this clock. That's our block time. We will release low parking brake, and we'll start pushing. See the automatically the lower ICAS is the doors page. As soon as we turn the engine start switch to ignition start, that will change over to the appropriate bleed air page for bleed air start. Oh, that's another thing I should definitely do, is turn on the APU bleed, because without that we have no bleed air. If you give it a second, you'll hear the air rushing around the cabin. There we go. Maybe turn on a little bit of integrated. That's one thing that I think I found it. Yep, there. Okay, so that's the integrated lighting, and there's another one right around here somewhere. Ah, that will turn on the floods. I had it. Is that the floods? No, that's the background. Where's the flood for the... hang on. I know there is one. Or maybe there isn't one. You know, that's a good point. Oh, maybe... No, it's not this one. That one we can turn almost off, by the way. Integrated lights? Maybe it's... No, it's not the integrated. Floodlights? No, doesn't seem to be. I thought there was one. Maybe there is one. I don't know. Either way, we can see it. So... pushing back here, let's get the engines running. So when we put this to ignition start, you'll see this turns to the engine page. Down here is our PSI for the bleed, so I can make it bigger if you'd like. There we go. Showing 38, 40 PSI now. So right click, left click the engine. Arming slides up ahead is announced. The pushback seems to be complete, so that's fine. Yeah, we'll set the parking brake. I just did that via my my HOTAS. Parking brake is set. Number 1 engine coming to life.
Είναι μεγάλη μας τιμή. Είναι μεγάλη μας χαρά που θα πετάξουμε σήμερα μαζί. Σας ευχαριστούμε που μας επιλέξατε. Καλώς ήρθατε. Καλώς ορίσατε στην πτήση μας. Προτεραιότητά μας είναι η άνεση και η ασφάλειά σας. Γι' αυτό, λίγο πριν απογειωθούμε, θα θέλαμε να παρακολουθήσετε με προσοχή τις παρακάτω οδηγίες ασφαλείας. Μπορείτε να δέσετε και να λύσετε τις ζώνες ασφαλείας με αυτόν τον τρόπο. Παρακαλούμε, σιγουρευτείτε ότι η ζώνη ασφαλείας παραμένει δεμένη.
Alright, you can see that engine 1 is enunciating avail, so that's one good start. Go ahead and start number 2. And you can hear the, over the PA, you can still hear the, oh, I can mute it, but I can also change the volume a little bit. Scroll position is a little bit wonky, but that's okay. GSX telling us to have a good trip, so we're just waiting for number 2 to come online, and then we'll start heading out.
Μπορείτε να συμπληρώσετε αέρα πιστώντας μέσα στο σωλήνα. Κάθε σωσίβιο έχει ατομικό φωτάκι που ανάβει μέσα στο νερό, τραβώντας αυτή την άκρη. Οι έξοδοι κινδύνου του αεροσκάφους αναγνωρίζονται εύκολα, καθώς φέρουν την ένδειξη έξοδος. Φωσφορίζον διάδρομο στο δάπεδο σας οδηγεί σε αυτές. Μπορείτε να βρείτε όλες αυτές τις οδηγίες ασφαλείας.
Engine 1 still stabilizing. Almost there. Oh, there we go. There's the click of the buses changing over, and we have avail enunciated on number 2. So turn off the engine bleed. We can turn this back to norm, and we'll sorry, I meant the APU bleed. I think I said the APU bleed. Anyways, the master switch goes off. The wing lights can go on. Taxi, runway turn off, and that should be that. Okay, we need flaps 1. We can adjust our trim to 0.9-ish up. There we go. That looks good to me. We'll do a flight control surface check. So, full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral.
For helping others near you. A life jacket is stowed under your seat. When instructed to do so by the crew, pull the life jacket over your head, attach the strap to the hook in front, and pull tight to adjust it to your waist. Before leaving the
the aircraft, pull the red toggle sharply downwards, then face the jacket.
If you leave the aircraft with an emergency overwing window exit, please inflate your jacket outside.
If necessary, you can top up here to this view.
Every life jacket has a lamp, which lights up in the water when you pull this tab.
All emergency exits include a luminous exit indicator. Photoluminescent strips on the floor will guide you to these exits. Do take your
Alright, I'm not quite sure where that Ryanair is going, but we do have traffic final for announced 03 left, which is fine, because we're going 03 right, which is over in a thatterly direction. We can go ahead and prematurely turn the weather radar on. System 1 or System 2 doesn't really matter.
to bring you closer to the ones you love. Flying you further.
Cabin announcements still going. We're going to come out here, we're going to make a left, and then our second right onto, I believe it's Delta taxiway? I'll have to check the charts for that. But having done this flight before, it's fine. I'm quite familiar with the taxi routing here. That Ryanair might have been going for 3 left. 03 left, I should say. We're going for 03 right. So to each their own. Just gonna quickly check to the left, make sure it's clear. Yep, it's clear. A little bit of braking. The IAE engines on the ground produce quite a bit of idle thrust, so the aircraft does tend to accelerate away at idle thrust, even more so than the CFM version. Alright, established here on the taxiway. We can go ahead and check our items here. So auto brake max, go ahead and do that. Cabin check, well that's the cabin behind us, so that they have to secure the cabin basically. That's an automatic, they'll tell us when the cabin's ready. Spoilers arm, so spoilers set to arm, there we go, that little lever up there. And takeoff config test we will wait until we are fully ready by the runway to do. In the meantime we just taxi out, it's going to be left up ahead there, and we'll just stop at the holding point. So we'll make the left here. We don't really need full length for this departure, so we'll just stop here. I think this is Delta 2, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Delta 2. For 03 right, we'll come to a stop. We'll turn off our taxi light. That's just common courtesy. There we go. Stopping here. Set the parking brake. We are still waiting on the cabin, if you check down here. So once that's ready, we'll do the takeoff config, which is here, takeoff config test, and away we go. Alright, back in the flight deck. The cabin is ready, so we can go ahead and take off config test. No blue. We are pretty much ready for departure. I'm going to turn on my transponder. We'll have a quick look around us via the nav page. See if there's anybody about. Nope. Cool. I'm going to announce this even on Unicom. Oh, we do have somebody that just departed off of 03 left, looks like. That's fine. We'll just take position. We'll see if they make a right-hand turn. If they do, we'll give them a little bit of time to cross over our departure path. They should be going over to the left that way if the setup is correct. So what we can do is we can turn on all of the shiny things. Strobes. Clear on the right. That traffic seems to be going straight ahead for now, which is fine. Maybe we'll have a quick look here after we make the turn. Beautiful dawn here. A little bit cloudy, but that's okay. We should climb above those rather quickly. It's few at 3,000, so be out of the way in just a bit. There's that other traffic up here, just departed off of 03 left. We'll have a look and see if they make a right or a left-hand turn. You can see the mountains in the background there. That's our terrain that was showing up right over here on the terrain radar. Absolutely beautiful part of the world. We'll wait till they get about 7.5 miles and then we'll... Actually, you know what? Yeah, we're good to go. Okay, so a little bit of down pressure when you add in the power here, up to about 80 knots. So you'll see this this little crosshair here is where I'm basically where I'm commanding the flight controls. So you'll see me put that a little bit down to about 80 knots, and then we'll ease back to the neutral position. All right, so are we ready? Power's coming in. And of course, the IAE models take a little bit of time to spool up. So make sure those are stable. Sounds stable to me. There we go. We've got ManFlex SRS runway. Keep her in the center line here. There's that buzz saw you can hear in the background. Famous buzz saw of the IAE engines. There's 80, so ease up on the forward pressure. Try to keep them on the center line here. A little bit of left rudder, and V1, rotate, pull back nice and gently, and we're up. That's positive rate. Gear's coming up. Just follow the crosshairs for now. Hand flying this thing is absolutely spectacular, which I'm still going to do for a while, but look at this departure. The lights in the background, the clouds, the field behind us. Fantastic. Alright, coming up to 1770 is when we're going to get the thrust lever to climb enunciation. So we still got a little while to go for that. We can go ahead and zoom out here a little bit on our ND. There we go. There's the lever climb. So we'll bring it back to climb. There's climb power. Keep it nice and quiet here for the residents. Just a skosh to the left here. Wind is from the left to right. So we do have to correct a little bit to the left. I'm going to pitch down a little bit as well. Keep the speed in check. It is descending a little close to the barber pole. So with the power reduction, we're also going to reduce our pitch angle. Look at this. Hang on. Back to the right a little bit. There we go. That should be fine. Look at this. I absolutely love this part of the world. I've been flying in and around the Greek islands for a little while now, and I cannot get enough. Alright, there's acceleration height, so we're going to pitch down even more. Start accelerating away, and we'll clean up the aircraft, bring in the flaps and slats. So pretty. So absolutely stunningly pretty. Should be daylight by the time we get over to Thessaloniki as well. Accelerating away nicely. Basically, I'm not even touching the... You can see the side stick here. You can see when I put in a little bit of input to the left and to the right. And basically, the aircraft is, with the fly-by-wire, just basically stays exactly where you pointed. So I'm not touching the side sticks here, and it's following the flight director almost absolutely perfectly. A little bit of wind correction here. We can go ahead, there's the S, so we can bring in the slats. Slats coming up. There's green dot speed and our proposed about 210-ish knots. I think there's a speed restriction over here at the SPA-12 before we make the right-hand turn. So we'll adhere to that and stick to about 110 knots, sorry. A little bit of up. There we go. Just following the flight directors. Thing flies so easily when there's, not too much wind. Just going to adjust my throttles here. Make sure it stays in the climb detent. Passing 7, we're going up to, we had 9, but we'll go up to our cruise now of 2.8, which means we can pull this for standard. And the other thing we can do is we can shut off all of our exterior lights. Obviously leaving the strobes and everything else on. So starting to get above the clouds now. Gonna make our right turn here in a second. After the right turn, I'll probably kick in the autopilot. Just waiting for the flight director to swoop on over to the left. There we go. So we can just follow that. And it's commanding us to pitch down a little bit as well, so we can keep accelerating to 250 knots. There we go. Absolutely fantastic. So we'll roll out of the turn, I'll put in the autopilot, and we'll come to a decision about our arrival in Thessaloniki. I'm going to check the traffic. What I'd like to do, even though the winds are 330 at 10, I would like to come in on 16, just because that's the one that's over the town, the city. Shows off the scenery the best. If there's no traffic around, even with a small tailwind component like that, I will try to come in on 16. If it doesn't work, we'll do a go around, and we'll come back in for runway 34. How's that sound to you? Sound good? Sounds good to me. And since I'm the one flying and you're not in control, that is going to be the plan. Alright, get the autopilot in. Fantastic scenery. I'm going to be saying this a lot in the next couple of videos here in this series because it's absolutely breathtaking. With FreeMesh X, which is absolutely free, generating the mesh, and a little bit of help from Rex for the textures for the sunrise, and OpenLC Europe for the ground textures, it's just absolutely fantastic. Alright, we'll set this to all. That's our transponder, by the way. It basically just filters out. If we have it set to above, it just filters everything above us. Below, obviously, filters everything for below. And all is basically what it says on the tin. Alright, we can get rid of the floodlight here. We can also disarm the speed brakes. And we'll turn off our seatbelt signs here in just a little bit, probably as we come out of this left-hand turn. I did not mean to open the tray table, but that's fine. We'll leave that open. One of the other perks of having an Airbus is there's no yoke in the way to have the tray table out. Nope, not the integrated lighting. We'll leave that on. We'll turn off the floodlights.